All right, up next, the Central Coast Mariners. Let's have a look back at last season. They finished 10th. Their record was 5 wins, 11 draws, and 10 losses. Really, their story of the season, they left goals and they left a lot of experience. Of course, they were coming on the back of their treble winning season, and few seasons before that, they had lost some key players and they'd replenished okay, but I think this was just one season too far. They never really looked likely to defend their premiership or their championship after losing some key players, two of which were very influential in Max Ballard, who of course went to NAC Breda, and Josh Nisbet, who went to Ross County and is now at Roda JC in the Netherlands. So losing those two, amongst some others, just really put them behind the eight ball from the start. They also missed some key players through injury during the season. Trent Sainsbury came to the club with plenty of hype, hoping that we could see the best of him, but unfortunately he had lots of injury troubles. They also had a terrible time in the ACL Elite competition. I'm not sure if they even picked up a point through that whole campaign. And then their season really ended with a whimper. They won just one of their last 14 games for a very, very disappointing title defense. So, yeah, it was a very disappointing season for the Central Coast Mariners fans after having so much success over the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, they've got some massive challenges through the club at the moment, and it's been well documented about the coach, Mark Jackson, departing the club, which has just made it even harder for Central Coast a week before the start of the season. Lots of rumours around. Things don't look good on the Central Coast, and I think it'll have a massive impact at the start of the season until they get stability. There's been talks internally about getting someone in the next 2 weeks and their assistants obviously taking over. It's not the way you want to begin a season. Their pre-season's been poor as well, and I think they're going to be in for a lot of challenges. One good thing are a couple of experienced signings that have come in, and that's Andrew Redmayne and James Donachie, which will be influential with Trent Sainsbury. They're going to have to show some real leadership to try to get this club through this difficult time. We reflected on last year, and I think we're heading in the similar direction. What's your feedback on the ins and outs?
Yeah, I agree with you. Andrew Redmayne, James Donachie, definitely be inclusions in terms of experience, even if they're kind of past their prime. Both of them, yeah, Will Kennedy coming in. Yeah, twin brothers, the Harides, Alexi and James. So, but they're youngsters, so not sure they'll see much game time throughout the season. Caltech's a big out. He wasn't at his best last season, but still one of their better players and pretty solid at the back. Alu Kual didn't have his best season last season. We'll see how he gets on at the Western Sydney Wanderers. A lot of the rest of them very much fringe players in terms of Noah Smith, Will Wilson, Sasha Kasevchi, Jack Kulshowski, keeper. He's ended at Melbourne Victory, I think. Mikel Docker is a big loss. He was very influential in their trophy winning seasons. And really, yeah, even last season, he was one of their shining lights. So he'll be a big miss for their, well, he started off as a right back, ended up playing as a 10 with the way that they set up. But he'll be a big loss. And I really think that they're going to have to rely on a lot of their young players coming through. As I said, if Redmayne and Donachie can provide that some experience in there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very challenging season for them.
Yeah, look, last year, 6,392 fans averaged out watching the Central Coast Mariners as they struggled through last year, and I think they're heading in the same direction and probably worse. The instability of everything that's happened and going on, I think they're in for a very shaky start. They've got the F3 derby to start with the Jets, and we've also seen how strong the Jets are at the moment, winning the Hahn Cup. Then they've got Sydney FC, Wellington, Perth, and the Wanderers. Chief, I'm tipping them to come last. I don't think this is going to be very pretty at all, why all this goes under the bridge at Central Coast. And look, I feel sorry for the Mariners fans. But they've bounced back before. One saving light they do have up there is they've always seemed to produce young talent, and I think they've got another one up there that I believe is very talented, and that's definitely H&M's. the 17-year-old has got a lot of potential, but hopefully there's a lot more around that the academy can produce to find that next gem in the pocket up there in Central Coast.
I've also got them last. I actually didn't have them in last until Mark Jackson departed the club. I thought that he might be able to lift them a bit higher, but I think that's a blow that they're not going to be able to overcome. Looking at those first 5 games, probably a couple in there that they might look at as an opportunity for a win. But I'll tell you what, if they come into that F3 derby and it doesn't go their way, and the Jets put some goals behind them, it's not going to set their season off to a cracking start. You mentioned Hayne Eames there. There are some other good, young, talented players, and they're just going to have to step up this year. Brad Tapp missed the majority of last season with a significant injury, so good to see him back playing pre-season games. Mikel DePizio, he's missed plenty of game time as well, so he'll be looking to have an impact. Nathan Paul, the young centre-back, so it'll be interesting to see him potentially play again alongside Donachie. He's a very talented young kid, great ball player and great skills for a tall, rangy defender, so hopefully he continues to kick on. Dylan Praich-Cullen's an interesting one for me. Sue, obviously, he played a lot of last season in goals for the Mariners, but with Andrew Redmayne coming in, I wonder if he'll get the starting spot or whether genuinely they're going to need Redmayne's experience on the field to get them through, which would be a shame because Praich-Cullen made some mistakes, as all young keepers do, but really found his feet during the season in a tough one for the Mariners last season.
Yeah, well, we wish Mariners fans all the best, and hopefully they can find and recapture some youth and talent come through, and the experienced fellas that we discussed can obviously support them through the season.